Alright everyone, so we're going to do a little shooting today with this Holosun 507k ACSS. This is the ACSS version. I'm going to be shooting this at 65 yards. Let's see if I can get some hits. I got to hold a little bit higher. Got one hit at 65 yards. I'm shooting, the target is 2 foot by 1 foot, so it's a pretty small target. One hit. Try it again. So 65 yards with the G43 so far. I got 1 out of 6 and then 1 out of 6 again. Try it again. Four out of 6. I'm going to stop there. All right, I'm going to stop while I'm ahead. I got 4 out of 6 on that. I'm going to load this up. But let me show you guys the box. This is, again, the 507k ACSS. I'll show you the optic, what it looks like. So it's got a 3 MOA dot, and then it has a 200 MOA outer circle. And the purpose of that outer circle, right, is to guide you to the center. Okay, so let me show you what that looks like. All right, so you see the 3 MOA dot, and then you see the 200 MOA outer circle. So if you're a little bit off like this, you can get a sense of where the, where the center of that is. So one of the things I have found is because in the original ACSS, it was a 10 MOA chevron with a solid outer circle. I found that I like that one a lot better because when I'm moving and shooting that little dot, it disappears. See how it's disappearing on that target, right? Against that paint over there, right? See how it can kind of disappear, and especially if you're moving, that can be a little. So with the 10 MOA chevron was bigger, a little easier for me to find when I was moving and shooting. I also like the solid outer circle because sometimes when you're moving, sometimes with the broken dashes, it can be a little hard to distinguish between what's a dot and what's a dash of the outer circle. So that's so far I wish they had stuck with the original design. I understand that they had to make the outer circle a little bit smaller because of the smaller lens, but I wish they had stayed with the solid outer circle instead of going to that dashes, and I wish they had stayed with the chevron design. In fact, if anything, the chevron, instead of it being 10 MOA, maybe it should probably be a 15 MOA, make it a little bit bigger so it's easier to find. So a lot of times people will tell you with perfect presentation, all you need is a dot. Okay, well, in realistic self-defense type of situations, chances are you're not going to get perfect presentation. Perfect presentation is for what I just did right now, where I'm shooting at 65 yards with this Glock 43, right? That's what perfect presentation is for. Again, let me show you guys the pistol. That's a Polymer 80 G43 that I made. That's the slide is from ADP Builder. So it's got the ported barrel. I haven't done a whole lot of shooting with this. You can see with the ported barrel, you can see it has a little burn marks over there. So that's one of the issues that I'm finding with the ported barrel. But as far as realistic shooting, chances are you're not going to be coming out of the holster and doing perfect presentation, right? Because this is what people usually practice. Coming out of the holster, coming out, getting it down on top. That's what they practice. But that's not the reality of it. The reality of it is you might be moving and shooting, a good chance that you might be in a grappling type of situation. You might be trying to hold somebody back. So when I practice shooting, I shoot one-handed, right? I practice one-handed, and also I introduce, so I'll go one-handed, right? I'll put it in my left hand, all right? Again, punch out, get on target. again, bring it in, go back out, in, out. That's when you really start seeing the benefits of the ACSS system. And then, of course, put in your left hand and start introducing movement, right? Come out, keep moving. Switch hands. So that's where I'm having now a little bit of problem as I'm moving, distinguishing between the dot and the dashes on the outside. That's where a bigger chevron and a solid outer circle would have been a lot more useful. Let's try this. So the camera over there is about 70 feet from the target. The table's about 60 feet, so I'm shooting at about 50 feet over there, out there. So, yeah, and that target is 2 foot by 1 foot. So, when you start pushing yourself and challenging yourself, putting your left hand, moving and shooting, that's when you really start seeing the benefits of optics, right? Because especially at like before, earlier I was shooting at 65 yards with the optic. A lot of times people don't even think about shooting that kind of distance with a pistol, especially with a Glock 43. Once you put the optic on it, all of a sudden, hey, you know what? Why not? And with a little practice, you'll find that it's definitely doable. All right. So again, and also the moving and shooting part. When you put optics on the gun, all of a sudden your expectations change. Once you put, in my opinion, all pistols should have optics. Guns that don't have optics, in my opinion, are basically antiques at this point. All right, let's shoot from, we said there's about 60 feet here, we said. This, I just want to be sure what I said before. Back, the camera's 60 feet. Here's table's 10, it's 50, the camera's 60 feet. The table, no, the camera was 70 feet, because I measured early. The table is 60 feet. And out there where I was walking back and forth, that was 50 feet. I want to make sure I meant feet, not yards. Okay. The far target that I was shooting at, that was 65 yards. Right, so again, in my left hand. Switch hands. Got one more mag. All right, so we said this is 50 feet here. Just punch out. All right, bring it in, right? Then punch out to help you, in, out. That's how you're gonna really test this optic, and push it to its limits. That's interesting. See with the ported barrel. Sometimes people ask me, should they get a ported barrel or not? I generally don't recommend it. See how it gets dirty. And what that can also do is some of that, depending on your ammunition, some of that can also end up in your glass, so your glass can start getting dirty. That's something I'm gonna keep an eye on. I don't know if this optic's gonna stay on this pistol. I'm using this as an opportunity also to break in this gun, which is something I don't even think I have 200 rounds on this yet. But yeah, I mean, this is a big improvement over the regular 507k, which had the multi-reticle, that was like a dot with a 32 MOA circle. I covered that in my last video. Especially when you're moving and shooting, this is a lot easier to find. The bigger 32 MOA circle, I mean, yeah, once you find it, it's easier to shoot once you find it. The problem with that is when you're moving is the moving part. Ideally, I would like the 32 MOA circle with the 200 MOA outer circle around that, right? And I wouldn't even use the dot, right? That would be perfect. I mean, I'd love to see something like that. A 32 MOA circle and then a 200 MOA outer circle. And the way that you would be able to distinguish the two is because your inner circle, you got your little hashes on the side. So that would be my idea for design. Because on my regular 507k, I don't use the dot at all. I just keep it in circle only mode. And also with the 507Cs, right? Same thing with those. I just kept it in circle only mode. I never bothered with the dot. I didn't find the dot very useful. And then when shooting at distance, right, with the circle only, I would just center my target in the center of my circle. But I'm glad that they finally brought the ACSS design over to these micro optics, right, in this 507K. I wish it was available for the EPS carry. The EPS carry is a better micro optic because that has the solar power and it dims down. The problem with this is the problem I had with the 507K, and I know I'm also going to have with this because it's the same electronics. In order to be able to see this reliably when you come out of the holster on a bright day, you have to keep it like at the highest brightness setting or maybe one down so you can see it on a sunny day, and you only get 1 month of battery life out of this. Okay, because now if with the Holosun 507 ACSS, right, the larger one that has the solar panel, with that one you can keep in solar power mode because when you put that in the holster, it's going to power down. See, with this one, when you put it in the holster, it doesn't power down, right? Because with the EPS carry, which has the light sensor, when you put that in the holster, that's going to power down. That's going to conserve your battery, right? Because that's the thing that's going to suck with this optic. You're only going to get 1 month of battery life if you keep it at sunny day brightness. Okay, so I wish that the EPS carry was available with the ACSS. They usually, because EPS carry I think just came out last year, but they only started really selling it this year. Now in January 2023, where I'm really starting to see it available on the websites. I'm hoping that by next year, the ACSS is going to be available for the EPS carry. However, I hope that they take my advice and my suggestions and go back to the original ACSS design. Get the chevron, the larger chevron with a solid outer circle. That's going to be a lot more useful for moving and shooting. So let me know what you guys think. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe. I'll talk to you all soon.